Hey there, my name is Brooks Elms. This is Unleash Your Superpower, a conversation with me. I'm a WJ writer that loves to help other writers, and my friend Josh Barkey, who's a very talented writer, who's also the moderator of our community here at Unleash Your Superpower, where we are dedicated to helping you get your screenplay into the right hands in Hollywood. And I figured we'd have a really cool, authentic, honest conversation about what this program is really about and how it can help you and how it can help you, right? It's because I want to keep it real so that you get a sense of what you're really getting into and why we think it's could be worth your money, or you could be the type of person that's really not the right fit for. How does that introduction sound, Josh? Did I do it justice?
Sounds good. Yeah, keep it real.
So Josh is going to keep me keep it in check, because I get so enthusiastic and people and then Josh, has a slightly different style than me. So it's great. So between the two of us, maybe you'll see some of yourself in here. Okay, first up is who's this program for? To my mind, it's basically for anybody who's got material that's at the professional level, that's ready to get it into the hands of producers that want to make your film. So we have WGA writers in this group. We have people that have representation. We have people that don't have representation, but they're working at that professional level. I would say it's also appropriate for somebody who's close to that, that's like really serious and is like, look, I'm going to be professional in 6 months or a year or soon, and I want to start studying what it takes to be able to get my script into the right hands once I'm up there, right? Because it's a slow game. It can be fast, but some aspects of it are slow. So you can start training to be good at this as soon as you know that you're serious enough about it. But if you're really just writing your first screenplay, or you're not sure, it's probably not the best use of your time and resources. Josh, what do you think? Did I do that justice, or?
I'm just going to keep affirming as long as you keep not lying to anyone. So good work.
Perfect. All right.
Man speaks the truth. We're good.
Okay, good. So introduction was good. That was good. Okay, so now you have a sense of who this is for. Okay. One of the main reasons why I came up with the idea for this program is I speak to screenwriters all the time, because those are my people, and I just kept running into this problem, hearing them running into this problem about how I need representation, I need to get my script out, right? So the three main things I'm seeing screenwriters try and get really frustrated are they don't really do anything. I would say half the screenwriters kind of like they submit to like one contest or whatever, or they don't really, they kind of talk themselves out of even doing much with it. It really kind of finishes and they go, oh, well, I need another polish or whatever, but it's not even crossing the finish line and putting it out there because they're afraid to face the market, right? Good and bad. Number two, they do cold queries, right? So they'll sometimes pay professionals to be like, oh, let me spruce up my pitch, and here I am, and blah blah blah. And there's this pitch format, and like those things can work if you happen to have the right concept and meet the right person. But my God, it is a grind. It's like 1 in 50, maybe 1 in 30. The most I've ever heard of somebody get success with like a cold pitch in that way, it's like 1 in 9. So
and by success, you just mean some kind of response, not necessarily like not a sale or anything like moving forward or anything. It just means some kind of response.
Yes, I mean I've heard success. I've heard people look. There's qualifications of success. So, generally you don't get any response at all. So 1 in 1, probably 90% won't respond at all. The few that do respond are kind of like, well, we don't take unsolicited material, or they might go, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it happens, right? It's not that it never happens. It's just that the ratio of success is so low for a significant amount of reasons, right? And then the third, I even know somebody that like did this thousands of times over 10 years, cold queries, and he was a good writer, but it's just too inefficient. It's noise. So I do not recommend that. It's not worth your time or energy. The third one I think is interesting, because you can speak to is submitting to a lot of contests, right? Which can be good, especially if you win them. And that's what happened with you, right? So you submitted to contest, you actually won, and actually got you a manager, right?
Yep. Yeah. It was a little while ago. It was about 5 years ago. And I had been submitting a little bit here and there to different contests and things, tried the blacklist and hadn't really had much success. And then I had a script that I knew was really solid. So I submitted it all over the place, and then I ended up being a nickel finalist. It won the Page for comedy that year, and it was in semi-finalist at AFF, and I think it was a finalist in something else and a quarter finalist and a couple other things. So basically almost everywhere that I entered, it did something. And then
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, so out of 10, how did it get to the quarterfinals in 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10?
basically, yeah, basically kind of everything. So
Nice.
I knew I had this kind of weird concept that that just worked. So I just kind of went for it. And
Cool. And
yeah.
so then what happened? So it blew up in the contest. Great. They tried to help you get it set up and stuff. They got you an introduction to a manager, right?
Yeah. Actually, one of the contest judges he had seen the script in two different contests, so at AFF and through the Nickel Network, and ended up contacting me. And I met him. I met a couple other managers, and ended up going with him because he was more connected, and I thought he could really do something for me. So
Cool. Awesome. So that's pretty much close to the jackpot, like that. And then if he sells it, right? And then was he able to
yeah,
sell it?
no, he took it out to a handful, I guess, a fair few of his contacts, and there was some interest from the lower level guys at the thing. One of them was really excited about passing it on to his celebrity director, producer, owner of his company, but nothing came of that.
So,
Yeah.
you took a shot in the marketplace. You had a a pretty well known significant manager, being a champion of it. Didn't work out, and then
and then and then and then well, the real problem with this whole method for me is that it didn't address what the real issue was, which is that I was coming at it looking for someone to save me, and I wrote a great script and I worked really hard at my craft. I mean, that was not my first script. Wrote a great one or a good one or whatever, something that people responded to. And but I was still thinking, okay, I'm going to take this, and this thing's going to be the thing that's going to get me there. And so I was coming to my relationship with my manager, to my relationship with everyone that I was talking. I was taking these meetings with some higher level type people, and it was all just like, I'm coming as this sort of beggar saying, please solve something for me. I am scum. I am not worthy. And uh, and so I ended up having, as a result of that mindset, having breakdown in communication with my manager, and that ended. And then feeling like, oh, this sucks, this is terrible, I'm never gonna, and so I went and wrote a couple novels, actually.
okay, hold on. So let me jump in here. And this is totally common, right? This is you actually, when you win those contests, when you do those things, and a lot of people win those contests and don't get representation, but you did it, you get this thing, and you took a shot at the marketplace, and then there was this thing. But that's exactly right. It's that mindset of, well, I'm the writer and they're the business person and they're going to save me, and then I but it's not that, and it's not that they're like underlings working for us. They're teammates,
Right.
but we are the thought leaders. We are the ones that are saying, look, I think this would be an amazing movie or TV show. And
Right.
the reps come to us because they believe in our vision, and they try to go out and they sell it. And once they take it, good. He took a shot at the marketplace. It didn't work out, but like, the problem with reps and dependency on reps is, once they swing and miss, they're on to the next one. They've got a whole
Yeah.
roster of clients, and now they're going to swing it. It's because they're not making anything unless they sell something. It's a commission system. It's nice because it doesn't take anything out of your pocket, but it sucks because after that shot, it's it. And in fact, to my mind, this guy actually made that excuse of the communication thing. You were making a totally reasonable choice. Maybe you could have been a little more skillful in the way you did it or communicated it. But I thought he was out of line by doing what he did in terms of, the ending of that relationship. But like, to me, he was looking to get out because and it's not their fault. The representation system is broken.
Mhm.
They by its design, they have to ignore most of their clients most of the time, and only focus on the ones that are just dropping a deal on their plate right now. So when you then accept that water is wet and reps will not be at your beck and call and really save you, and you don't need that, it's actually better, Now you have a system to say, no, I am going to, in a way, be my own representation. I'm gonna go initiate my own deals, and I'm gonna enjoy doing it in the way that I enjoy writing my own screenplays. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
That's how I'm at most of the time, but not even all the time. The 4 projects I have cooking now are all deals that I initiated myself. My manager closes the deals, but I initiated these. Sometimes he brings me ones, but I don't depend on that, and that's the difference. So, is anything there sound like it's puffery or
No, no, that's 100% the case. Like, the thing is, I mean, they're going to be an advocate for you, but they don't care. Even if you manage to get representation, they don't care about your project as much as you do. Your project and your career is not as important to them as it is to you. Of course. And giving them the agency in that, and just sitting back, like I could sit back all day, and I have sit back and say, okay, I just want to write. I don't want to do anything else. So I'll just sit here and be my little closeted person in my little hermit cave. And then someone will come along and pour money on me so that I can order takeout more often or whatever. Like, I can whine about the way that the world is and the fact that that is not going to happen for me. I mean, it maybe happened for someone in the 90s. It happened for a few people in the 90s, but it's not going to happen for me now. What can I do? What can I take control of? Where can I have agency in my own life and in my own career? And it's actually like, if you can buy into that, and I am nowhere near Brooks level enthusiasm for this whole process, but if you can buy into it, then it's actually very self-affirming, because I am saying, like, no, I can take agency and do this on my own. And also, it levels the playing field when I'm talking to these people, because I'm not coming to them saying, save me. I'm coming to them and saying, hey, you seem cool. Let's do something cool together. Like, I like your stuff. I like what you're doing. Let's see if we are interested in the same sorts of things. Maybe there's something we can do together, which isn't a one project kind of idea. It's a career idea, which is building these long-term relationships.
It's literally looking at the people that are doing the movies and shows that you're like, I love those things, and you're having conversations with them, and you're just building relationships with them for the sheer joy of doing that. And then as a byproduct of that, in that conversation, your kindred spirits will be like, man, this guy Josh is amazing, or Brooks is amazing. What are you doing? And then it comes from there. If you're trying to sell your thing or pitching it, it's just noise. But if you're having really good conversations with really awesome people they're awesome by your unique definition of awesome, that's how this whole thing works. And it's really pretty amazing. Okay. So the next thing I'll say is because people come, I wanted to record this conversation because people come here for these specific reasons. They want to know, who we are, why this program, because what they've been doing before wasn't working, and why it wasn't working. And then they also want to know, is it worth their money, right? So the price point that I chose is really pretty similar to per month to what I used to what people used to pay for my UCLA extension class. And with that class, it was fine. It was a fine class. It was academic, right? So we would teach theory about, I taught, screenplay analysis and a few other things. So you get really good theory. So, but with this program, for around the same price, you get theory and actionable techniques that work, and a group of other people that are actively out there building relationships. And if I find somebody that's not quite right for my screenplays, but is right for Josh's, I make those introductions. So you've got those sort of, you get networking around networking. And most importantly, there's an accountability piece to it, because even if you have the right ideas, you're afraid of doing this stuff. I get afraid sometimes. It's like, I don't want to, I'm like, oh no, what if the marketplace says yes or no or whatever? And that fear paralyzes a lot of writers. So if you have an accountability system like we do, like we play this game where every week you kind of check in with how much progress you've made, and you kind of see how everybody stacks up. It just gets you in there planting seeds. And to some extent, it really is a numbers game. And if you can play the numbers game in a way that's really fun and sustainable, you will win that game. If you can't,
because we're not checking in based on on who had this accomplishment, who sold something or whatever. It's just like, what effort did you put out there? So we're keeping each other accountable on that level, which
That's right.
It's great.
What's the progress that you made in terms of building relationships, in terms of moving
Yeah.
things forward? And it just shifts your awareness, because a lot of times people actually are doing some pretty good things, but they're not aware of it. They're not tracking it. They're not getting it recognized socially. So they feel like they're doing nothing, and then they hate themselves and they do less, and it spirals down. This is a way of going, no, here you actually are making progress, and this progress absolutely will lead to opportunities. And here's how you do it. So the accountability system is huge value. So anyway, so compared to my UCLA class and this, you're getting way, way more value for around the same price. And so compared to any other alternative you have out there that I'm aware of, it's pretty amazing. But the final thoughts really for this are, well, Josh, you tell me. So we've touched on a few main things. What are your final thoughts that you want people to sort of be aware with, in keeping it real in terms of what this is and what this isn't?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, if you came to it as another genie in the bottle who's going to solve your problem again, then you're doing the same thing that I did when I went to the contest, and it won't work. Like, it's about recalibrating the way that you're thinking. And so if you come to it from that mindset, like, I'm going to learn and grow and make more connections, then the benefits will be there for you. Because I have a new script that's I think a good again that I'm about to put out there. And if I did the same thing all over again and took it to people as like, I am a lowly beggar, here's this thing, then please love me, then I'm gonna have the same results. And it's gonna be just as terrible an experience for me, because every time I talk to one of these people, I'm gonna be afraid and thinking, do they like me? Do they like me? Do they like me? Instead of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to insert person that I really would love to work with right now because I love the way they think. And yeah, so I think, and if I add it up in the time between when I had that success and now, and I did a mental calculation, and I spent more in the last few years on contests, even with dialing it way back. I entered Austin and the Nickel, that's it, for that amount of time, but I still spent more than I would have spent on this course, which would have put me on a path of rethinking how I was entering this and building a career of relationships rather than buying a lottery ticket every few months and hoping that it worked out. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, Josh. And my final thoughts are, it's like my specialty as what I've been good at myself as a working screenwriter, but also what I love to help other people with is really sort of mindset and meeting people where they're at. And I get it. A lot of people are really afraid. Again, I get afraid sometimes, even though I'm really good at it. But because I'm so aware of how I get afraid and how I procrastinate and how I sort of have conversations with myself, I'm able to be really helpful to people of recognizing their own fears, their own procrastinations, and giving them actionable ways of going, oh, that's okay. I'm not a bad person because I feel afraid and because I'm doing less than I want. And yet, gentle reminders of saying, look, this is your dream. This is your dream. And when you plant seeds, you will get that dream to manifest. I promise you. So it's, I meet you where you're at, and wherever that is, whether you're already pretty good at this or you're really kind of struggling, and it's all welcome. And everybody here is practicing. We're all on a path, so it's a very welcoming, fun space. And it really is possible for you to find your own way to do it that's sustainable, like for life, so that you just have a system where you're not dependent on anybody. You just have your way of doing it, getting into conversations, building relationships, and it really is a game changer for you. That's what I got. Josh, any final words, or you think we've covered it?
No, just thanks for everything you've been doing. And I've got a really cool idea that I want to run by you for doing that jives perfectly with what I love to do, and that is going to make this actually fun for me. So as soon as we get off, let's talk about that.
Great. Yeah, we will, of course. Yeah. I love ideas from her, because that's actually a funny thing. This is like, this is the things I've learned over 30 years in myself, but it's also open and involving. We're getting new ideas and we're learning from each other. So it's a really dynamic, improving community. So if this sounds like it sounds like your sort of thing, apply to it. We'll take a look. If we feel like you're a really good match, you'll come in, and who knows, maybe you'll be on the next video with me and Josh.
Sure.
Very meta, right? Okay. See you guys.